These next few slides show some of the detailed technical requirements, things, characteristics that you record when you actually put together a data flow diagram. Okay, so this is obviously the process. Process is an activity or function performed for a specific business reason. It can be automated for a computer system, or it can be for a manual process. And when you record it, these are some of the technical characteristics, the data characteristics that you need to record. A number, a name that is a verb, a description, at least one output data flow, or at least one input data flow. As I mentioned, we are only concerned with logical process models, conceptual process models. And logical process models, the key to a process is that it radically transforms data in some way. It doesn't just simply move or route data and leave the data unchanged. It processes it. It makes some sort of a primary transformation of the data from input to output. So you wouldn't model a process that just is moving data around. But you would model logical processes that do these things: perform computations, make decisions. It has to be a high-level sort, filter, or otherwise summarize, not just change the order of the data. Organize data into useful information, trigger other processes, and or use stored data, that is, create, read, update, or delete a record. A data flow, on the other hand, the arrow that always begins or ends with a process, is a single piece of data or a logical collection of data. The data flow names describe the content of the data flow, but not how it's implemented. We're concerned with the logical, conceptual data flows. It always starts or ends at a process, we mentioned that, and these are some of the data characteristics that you have to record when you're modeling a data flow using a case tool such as Visible Analyst. The name, which should be a noun, description, one or more connections to a process. Data flows are data in motion, which is what this slide says. An input of data to a process, or the output of data or information is data transformed. Data gets processed and it becomes information. Output of data or information from a process. The creation, deletion, or update of data in a file or a database. A data flow is depicted as an arrow, solid line arrow. There are such things as control flows with the dotted arrows, but we're not going to be concerned with them, so you don't have to worry about that at all. Now, a data store serves the purposes, meet the needs of information systems that always capture data for later use. A data store is a collection of data that is stored in some way. These are the characteristics that you will record, the technical attributes of a data store that you will record: a number, and we'll talk about that soon, a name, which is a noun, description, one or more input data flows, and one or more output data flows, somewhere, both or somewhere in the process model. And again, if data flows are data in motion, data stores are data at rest. Data stores should describe things, it's data, about which the business wants to store data. They're related to entities. Data flows leaving the data store are data retrievals. Data flow entering the data store are updates or new data being added to the data store. On the other hand, external entities are a person, organization, or system that is external to the system being developed. An external entity doesn't even have to be part of the organization for which the MIS, the information system, is being developed. External entities have interactions with the system, adds data to the system or receives data from the system. External entities are on the boundary of the system, so they serve to annotate the scope, the edges of the system. And some technical data attributes that you must record in using a case tool for an external entity is the name of it, a noun, and a description.